All right, I've got a legitimate question here. Are deeper wheels really faster? And I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna hand me a fat stack of papers and say, but Chris, look at this wind tunnel data. Deeper wheels are faster. But are they? After years of riding Roval CLX 64 wheels, which are 64 millimeters deep, I've gone shallower and shallower over the last 6 months. And guess what? I don't feel any slower. I'm not here to argue against computer data models or wind tunnel data, but I can just tell you from my experience of riding different depths of wheels in the real world that I really haven't noticed that much of a difference. So I have to ask myself, is there a sweet spot here between deep carbon wheels and shallow carbon wheels? I'm here to find out. As always, I share my perspective as a pretty normal dude. I ride around 7,500 miles a year, enter the occasional contest, and I don't get paid to ride a bike. But man, do I love to smash the pedals with friends, often early in the morning before my kids are out of bed, and in between work and life obligations, probably just like you. I've always been of the mindset that deeper wheels are faster wheels, and so that's why I rode the Roval CLX 64s for so long. Those wheels were a carryover from my old Enve, which I ultimately stripped all the parts off of and bought a tarmac frame to build up my Tarmac SL7. And I logged tens of thousands of miles on those wheels and really liked them. And I was always of the mindset that the depth of those wheels contributed to the speed that I felt on the Tarmac SL7. I sold that Tarmac SL7 with the Roval CLX 64s, and I bought a new Tarmac without wheels. And this Tarmac had SRAM red ETAP axis. And so I used the Enve 4.5s that I had bought as a second wheel set for the Crux. And the Enve 4.5s are 48 millimeters deep in the front and 54 millimeters deep in the rear. Definitely more shallow than the Roval CLX 64s. And guess what? I didn't notice any difference in speed between the Roval CLX 64s and the Enve 4.5s. Fast forward to today, and I now have a set of the Reserve 4044s, which are, as you might expect, 40 millimeters deep in the front and 44 millimeters deep in the rear. A far cry from the 64 millimeter wheels that I had just 6 months ago. And guess what? Although visually it looks dramatically different and it feels to me like it's a bit of an extreme, I don't feel any slower on these wheels. And maybe you could say, but Chris, don't you remember last week when we were on that flat, fast group ride? Don't you wish you had your deep section carbon wheels for that? I mean, I guess maybe when I was on the front for a second, I guess maybe it was a hair slower, but I don't really think that it was noticeable. And I can tell you that as soon as it shifted from flat to the hilly sections, these wheels felt much better than my 64 millimeter deep wheels. And what I'm starting to realize is that there are some intangibles that you get with these shallower wheels. See, you're sacrificing a hair of aerodynamics in exchange for compliance, stability, a lighter wheel, which contributes to better climbing abilities. And I think these are real things that you feel with a more shallow set of wheels. And as someone who bought into the idea that deeper wheels were always faster, I'm now second guessing that mindset. See, maybe I've had it wrong all along. Maybe there's something to be said about a do-it-all wheel set, something that performs exceptionally well in flat, fast group rides, as well as technical climbs and descents, something that inspires confidence. Because over the course of a whole ride that has a mix of all of that, you may find that that perfect wheel set is even faster. I'm here to find that sweet spot and the do-it-all wheel set. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think is the perfect depth for a do-it-all wheel set. Anyways, until next time.